yeah, savoir. We love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, 124 new cases of HIV/AIDS recorded. Landowners eager to invest, says PM. And Fareed's lawyer to file strikeout application.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
The Ministry of Health recorded 124 new cases of HIV/AIDS from January through October. Minister Dr. Efremi Wanganambete says of those cases, 41% were women. Dr. Wanganambete says they've identified two major issues pertaining to health in Fiji: non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases. He adds, while the ministry is addressing the issues of leptospirosis, typhoid, dengue and diarrhea, they recognize and acknowledge that HIV/AIDS is a behavioral disease.
1/3 of our population are youth. Today I take this opportunity to remind them and remind you that are youth in this room to take responsibility for your lives. Practice safe sex as the health facility and staff stand ready to support you in your journey for healthy adulthood.
Prime Minister and Chair of the Itauke Land Trust Board, Morengue Bainimarama, says more landowners are leasing their land. While speaking on the Radio Fiji One's Non the Prime Minister program, Bainimarama says the transition is an indication of the government's concerted effort to encourage locals to invest in their land for sustenance. He adds this was not prevalent in the past decade, and the establishment of the Landowners Affairs Unit has encouraged more Fijians to utilize their land for development purposes. The Prime Minister says this initiative will also ensure landowners benefit from TLTB Landowners Seed Fund grant.
The seed grant started in 2017 to assist landowners. To date, 216 landowners have shared about $1.5 million under this initiative. The willingness of landowners to lease their land was not prevalent in yesteryears, and this is a good move by the government.
4 new border quarantine cases of COVID-19 has been recorded. These Fijian citizens arrived in Nadi on flight NZ952, from Auckland last Thursday. The 4 include a 28-year-old female, a 58-year-old male who had traveled from Kenya, a 36-year-old male traveling from Mali, and a 53-year-old male traveling from France. All 4 new cases were under strict border quarantine conditions from the time the flight landed into Nadi. They are all in stable condition and have been transferred to the isolation unit at the Lotoka Hospital. There are now 7 active border quarantine cases. The defense lawyer for former CEO of Fijian Holdings Limited Group, Nazab Fareed, today told the court they will file a strikeout application if a called witness is absent in the next fixed trial date. Fareed's trial was supposed to start today. However, the state lawyer informed the court that a witness is still stuck in South Korea due to COVID-19 restrictions. Fareed is charged with 3 counts of indecent assault. It is alleged he committed the offences against 2 female employees of the FHL group. The defence lawyer told the court that trial date was set in August and the state has failed to make arrangements to bring the witness to Fiji. He adds there were advertised flights since August, yet no arrangements were made. Meanwhile, a notice of motion was filed and served by the state. The state told the court they are not in a position to proceed for trial, and they have sought time to make travel arrangements for the witness still in South Korea. The magistrate then extended Fareed's bail and has also cancelled his monthly reporting day to police. The new trial date has been set for March 15th next year. The Fish Smart campaign running for the next 2 years is aimed at ensuring the recuperation of marine resources on the decline in the past few years. The Sea Change Program Manager, Mafa Ngiolele, says the that most of the fishing communities in the country have raised concerns over the declining fish population in their Golingoli areas. Gyolele says fishermen are spending more money fishing than the income they generate from it.
A big reason is that our lifestyle has changed. We have more incomes today than we ever did before. Also, our population has increased. So, that means more mouths to feed, and in normal years, more and more visitors are coming to Fiji as well and eating fish as well.
Young people are being encouraged to be innovative during this pandemic. With many out of jobs due to the impact of the pandemic, Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says young people need to possess entrepreneurial skills. Akbar says youth need to think outside the box to sustain themselves and their families. She says the pandemic is beyond our control, but being critical thinkers is something that can be an advantage.
What we are going through, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond our control. But what is within our control is to find opportunities in this. And this is a classic example of young people rising to the call of the nation, and rather than becoming job seekers, you sort of are job creators.
Up ahead, no change to Fiji Fact venue. And Fiji Rugby Union widens player base.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
The Vodafone Fiji Fact 2020 semi-finals and final, which was called off last weekend, will still be hosted at Lambasa's Subrail Park. This has been confirmed by the Fiji Football Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf. The semi-finals will be played on Saturday with the third and fourth place playoff. The grand final will be played on Sunday. Yusuf says the announcement made last Sunday still stands and there is no change in the venue. He says all speculations on social media regarding the change in venue are false. All ticket holders for day 5 and 6 can use the same tickets to watch these matches, and fans who want a refund will get their full refund. The Fiji Rugby Union has widened its player base in scouting and grooming future flying Fijians. Currently with a pool of 90s players, local and overseas, in the Flying Fijian system, High Performance Unit Manager Simon Raiwalui says they continue to keep an eye out for potential talent. He says they're also monitoring players in the HPU system and those with scholarships overseas.
We've also got our players that are younger through our high performance, given that we're aiming for them at certain stages to join our national programs. And also we've got a number of schoolboys playing in either New Zealand and Australia, so just really databasing them and keeping an eye on them, and also looking to track them into our national programs as well.
The people of Taveuni will witness some of the best sevens rugby ever on the island during this weekend's Fiji Bita Wariki Sevens. More than 40 men's teams are registered for the 3-day tournament, including champion teams like Tambadamu and Army. Taveuni has produced some of Fiji's greatest, who are currently shining on the world stage with the likes of Semirandrandra and Williame Maya. Tournament director Iowane Ngande says local teams will be exposed to sevens rugby at a whole new level.
We've got players that come out of Taveuni that made the Fiji team. You got Semirandrandra, he's just grassroots level rugby player, came from Somo straight into the Fiji team. And we've got Williame Maya, a lot more players that come out of Taveuni. So in this case, it gives them, the local players, the drive to try and compete at level and test their skills and their strength, if they can have a chance and maybe showcase the talents.
One of Fiji's top female boxers, Vilisi Kolitapa, has traded competition to become a trainer for the Fiji Amateurs Boxing Association. A middleweight boxer herself and a mother of 5 believes there is a need for development in the sport. Hence the reason Kolitapa is leading a group of children aged 8 to 14 under the Fiji Amateurs Boxing program that focuses on proper boxing fundamentals and techniques.
In here, coaches will be teaching children the fundamentals of boxing and the skills and the techniques which need to be done. Because mostly when we go overseas, we lack on that, especially the basic skills. We are more into what we see rather than what we learn.
Mostly fine conditions are prevailing over most parts of the country. There's a slight chance of showers, late evening and overnight showers. That's FBC News Now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. You need news you can trust. Get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth. Good afternoon.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.